If you ask any parent to, give you the story of their life with kids, you almost always get one of two things.
Oh, for sure.
First, there's the highlight reel. You know this one. It's the first steps, the graduations, the big soccer
A
goal.
victory lap version of parenting.
Exactly. Where everything is loud and triumphant.
Right.
And then, well, then there's the flip side.
The survival guide.
Oh, the survival guide, the story about just pure exhaustion, the mess, the endless fight over broccoli. It's a war story, basically.
Yeah.
So we have these two buckets, winning or surviving.
But most of life isn't lived in those extremes.
That's just it. I've been reading something that suggests we're missing the whole point. What if the real substance of parenting, the actual texture of it, isn't in the highs or the lows? What if it's somewhere much, much quieter?
And that's the question that really frames our whole conversation today. We measure our lives by the peaks, but we live on the flat ground in between.
Which is exactly where we're going. Today we're unpacking an essay that, honestly, I haven't been able to stop thinking about. It's called Quiet Joy by the writer and philosopher Pedro Malha.
And we should say this is not your typical parenting advice.
Not at all. This isn't 5 steps to a calmer you. Malha's mission here is almost linguistic. He's trying to put words to a feeling that I think almost every parent has felt, but, we just don't talk about. It's a deep dive into the philosophy of the everyday.
It's so subtle, it just slips right through your fingers.
It does. And a quick note before we jump in. Malha is very specific that this kind of joy ignores the clock. It's unmeasured. So you won't hear us say specific times. We'll be talking about the early hours or late at night or the rush of the morning. We're keeping it vague on purpose.
Which is perfect, because the first thing Malha does is he just dismantles our normal idea of happiness. He draws this hard line between quiet joy and what we're all told joy is supposed to look like.
Okay, let's dig into that, because when I think joy, my mind just goes big. A surprise party, a vacation.
Something loud. Visible.
Yes.
Malha calls that loud joy, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's proof, right? Proof you're doing a good job. It's the milestones.
It's about getting somewhere.
Exactly. Arrival. But quiet joy. It's the total opposite. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't solve a single problem. And frankly, it is completely indifferent to whether you're being a good parent or not.
That's the part that really tripped me up at first. He says it happens, and this is a quote, while the sink is full.
It's such a powerful image, isn't it?
It feels almost illegal. I mean, think about it. My brain is always telling me, okay, once the kitchen is clean, once the emails are answered, then I can relax. But he's saying
What?
that the joy is in the middle of the mess.
Not in the mess, but it can coexist with it. And that's the key distinction.
Oh, okay.
We treat joy like a reward we get for finishing our chores. Malha says no. Quiet joy just sits right there alongside the tiredness and the worry. He calls it small but complete.
Small but complete.
I love that. It's so subversive. Because if you're waiting for the sink to be empty or for your kid to get through some phase, you could be waiting your whole life. This joy shows up when things are decidedly not resolved.
So it's the anti-milestone.
Yeah.
It's not progress. It's just presence.
Yeah.
But, okay, let me push back a bit. That sounds lovely, but when the sink is full and someone is screaming, I'm not feeling very philosophical. So how does he ground this? What does it actually look like?
He gets incredibly sensory. And notice how small his examples are. He doesn't talk about winning a trophy. He talks about a child just leaning their head against your arm.
Yeah, that sudden weight.
That's it. Or the sound of breathing from another room, the smell of their hair after a bath, the dead weight of a sleeping child you have to carry in from the car.
The one that really got me was the way a hand reaches out automatically without checking whether it's a welcome.
Why that one for you?
I don't know. It's just that level of safety. As adults, we calculate. We wonder, is this okay? But a kid just reaches. It's pure trust.
And that's the heart of it. None of these things are events. You wouldn't put "heard my kid breathing" in a baby book.
Right. You wouldn't post on social media, guess what? My kid smelled like shampoo today. It doesn't land.
It doesn't scale. Malha says their power is all in the repetition. They're just woven into the fabric of the days. It's the texture, not the plot.
But that leads to the mechanics, right? Because these things are happening all the time, but I miss them 90% of the time because my brain is going a mile a minute. So how do we even notice this?
He talks about a softening of your attention. This joy only really comes through when your mind stops scanning for what needs doing next.
Which is the hardest thing in the world to do. My brain is a scanning machine.
It's a survival tool.
Well,
But he says it's not like you suddenly become a Zen master. It's just, for a brief moment, the need to anticipate just loosens. He says this joy lives in Time that is not being measured.
Time not being measured. So like those weird hazy moments, the early hours before the day starts or late at night.
Exactly. When you're not looking at the clock. In those gaps, these little sensory details, they just anchor you in the present without you even trying. You don't have to analyze why the hair smells good. It just does.
It feels almost rebellious, doesn't it?
Mhm.
But there's a paradox here that Mala brings up, and I think this is where it gets really deep. He says this joy often shows up when we're completely exhausted.
The paradox of exhaustion, it's so counterintuitive. You'd think you'd feel it most when you're well-rested and energetic.
Right, when I've had my coffee and I'm feeling patient and on top of things.
But Malaz's theory is that it often appears when our defenses are just tired. When a parent is, quote, too exhausted to maintain distance, too absorbed to maintain control.
See, that's where I struggle a bit. When I'm exhausted, I'm usually just cranky. I don't feel open. I feel like a raw nerve. How does joy fit in there?
Well, that friction is the opening. When you have the energy to be the perfect parent, you're performing, you're managing. But when you are just wiped out, you drop the role. You're not parent with a capital P. You're just a person sitting next to another person.
You tired to lecture.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And connection happens without negotiation. You're just there.
Yeah.
And that's often when a child senses it and moves in closer.
But that can be so confusing.
Yeah.
Malha mentions the guilt parents feel. Like, am I allowed to feel this wonderful thing when I was just losing my mind 5 minutes ago?
It's a real conflict. We feel like joy is inappropriate if we're also struggling. Like, if I admit I'm happy right now, does that mean this morning wasn't really that hard?
Right, like you're betraying the struggle.
But Malha's rebuttal is so powerful. He just writes, quiet joy does not require permission. It doesn't ask to be justified. It doesn't cancel out the fear or the exhaustion. It's just another layer.
So you can be worried and
Yeah.
feel joy at the exact same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It slips in through the cracks. He mentions transitions are a key place for this.
The thresholds.
Leaving the house, coming home, falling asleep, the moments when nobody's really engaged in what comes next, the space between the tasks opens up, and that's where it lives.
Okay, so this joy is small, it's sensory, it happens when we're tired. But here's the kicker. You can't hold on to it. Malha calls it fugitive.
This is the hard truth of it. Quiet joy is not cooperative. It shows up fully formed, and then it just dissolves. You can't invite it over.
So if I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm ready now for my moment of quiet joy, it's just not going to happen.
Nope. The act of looking for it scares it away. It's like trying to catch smoke. The harder you grab, the more it disappears.
That makes me a little anxious, honestly. We live in a world where we capture everything. My first instinct is to grab my phone, take a picture, save it for a rainy day.
And Malaz says you can't. You can't build a joy savings account. But this leads to one of his most profound points, its relationship with memory. He calls it retroactive.
Retroactive joy.
Yeah.
So we only see it in the rearview mirror.
A lot of the time, yeah. Because when it's happening, you're often too busy to even register it. It's only later, looking back on a day that felt like a total slog, a monotonous stretch of obligation, that you suddenly remember that one little moment.
And that one memory changes how you see the whole day.
It redeems the timeline. It rewrites the story from I survived to there was something gentle in there, but you have to accept that it's transient. It has to be.
So if it doesn't fix anything and it doesn't stick around, I have to ask the practical question. What is it for? What's its function? Because he has this metaphor about punctuation that I think is the core of the whole essay.
I agree completely. This is the centerpiece. He says to imagine parenting as this incredibly long run-on sentence. It just goes on for years.
Sentence without a period at the end.
Exactly. Now, the loud joys, the vacations, the big wins, those are like exclamation points or new chapters.
Yeah.
But quiet joy, it's a comma.
A comma. And what does a comma do?
It creates a pause. It doesn't end the sentence.
Yeah.
It doesn't change what came before it.
Yeah.
But it lets you take a breath so you can keep reading.
That is huge. It's not a full stop. It's just, I can keep going.
He writes that it's a brief pause where the weight is felt differently. It allows the sentence of parenting to continue without becoming unbearable. It anchors you. It reminds you that what's happening is real and it is sufficient.
Real and sufficient. That's the antidote to the social media highlight reel, isn't it?
It's the ultimate counterweight. It keeps the whole thing from tipping into just sacrifice and hard work.
Yeah.
It reminds you there's texture here, even if the sink is full.
That connects to something else he mentions near the end. The joy of just witnessing, not doing anything, just watching.
Yes, witnessing a child at ease, seeing a child who isn't performing, not asking for anything. They're just existing, absorbed in their own little world.
And you, the parent, aren't doing anything to cause it. You're just in the room.
Malha uses a phrase I love here. He says, the parent is being trusted with someone else's ease.
Wow.
To be a safe enough presence for a child to be completely unguarded around you,
Yeah.
that's a tremendous thing. And the joy is just being allowed to see it. It's
Same.
relational, not transactional.
Exactly. And that brings us back to why this is so hard to talk about. You can't really explain it to anyone. It's unshareable content.
Which is probably why it's so protected, in a way.
It stays yours.
So we've unpacked this idea. It's fleeting, it's sensory, it's this vital punctuation. But I want to circle back to you listening. Because normally, we try to give a takeaway. Go do this.
And Malha says explicitly, don't do that.
He does. He says, this does not mean parents should try to notice joy more deliberately.
That is the trap. We hear this and we think, okay, new project, hunt for quiet joy. I'll journal about it. And if you do that, you'll kill it.
Because then you're not living it, you're auditing it.
You become a tourist in your own life. You're watching yourself be present instead of just being present.
So the takeaway is, don't try. That feels so weird to say.
The takeaway is to just know that this texture exists. Malha says that recognizing it changes how the experience is understood, but not how it's managed. It doesn't make parenting easier, it just makes it more accurately seen. It validates that feeling that maybe, just maybe, you aren't missing out just because your life looks messy and not like an Instagram post.
Precisely. It challenges the idea that parenting is only vigilance and effort. It reminds us there's this other ghostlier layer that's always there.
It's funny, the older parents I know, they always say, it goes so fast, or you'll miss this, and I sort of roll my eyes because I don't think I'll miss a meltdown in the grocery store.
But Malasa says what they actually miss isn't the stress, it's these quiet moments that were barely noticed at the time. The joy reveals itself in the rearview mirror.
It's the background noise you only notice once it goes silent.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's the hum of the house. That's what accumulates over the years to form a texture of meaning. Not a story of happiness, a texture of meaning.
I love that. A story is a plot. A texture is just how it feels to touch it.
And that's what remains. It proves it wasn't just sacrifice. There was this other quiet thing woven all the way through.
So, to you listening, you don't have to do anything with this. Just knowing that quiet joy is a real thing, that it's okay for it to be fleeting, that it's okay for it to happen while the sink is full. That's the entire point.
It is sufficient.
It is sufficient. This has been such a refreshing deep dive. I feel like I'm going to walk through my house a little differently now. Not looking for it, but maybe just softer.
Softening the attention. That's it.
Before we go, here's a final thought. We spend so much time curating our memories, taking the photos, writing down the milestones. But what if the most profound parts of your relationships aren't the memories you consciously save? What if the real foundation is built on all the invisible, unmeasured moments you won't even remember happening?
That's a thought that stays with you.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Take care.